What's up, everybody? We're back, joined by Clovis, West alum, Vanderbilt alum, College World Series champ, and now freaking big leaguer with the Oakland A's, Tyler Ferguson, my guy. Thank you for doing this, man. I know you guys are in Houston. I appreciate you taking some time this morning to come on and do this, man.
Absolutely. Glad to be on and get to talk baseball with you.
Yeah, what's the last week been like? Before I get into like the call-up stuff, how's the last like 7 days been? Have you had a chance?
Awesome.
Have you had a chance to like soak it in and like sit back and like, oh my God, I'm here?
Yeah, I've been trying to soak it in whether it was, in Oakland and being in the Coliseum. I got to go up for the Bay Series, but to be there when the games actually matters is a whole different experience. And then going into Seattle, I mean, that's like we played a weekend series in Seattle and you have 40,000 every night and it's just a blast. I mean, you're playing on the field with, the guys that you've watched forever. And yeah, I've been trying to soak it in and enjoy it, looking around, enjoying it, not just being like, okay, I'm just here to work. Like I am here to work, I'm taking care of business, but also soaking in the fact that like I'm a big leaguer. This is what I've wanted to do forever. And now I'm finally getting that opportunity.
Was it everything you might have thought it would be? I mean, as a kid, everybody dreams of this, and
Yeah.
we've done a lot of these where we've talked to, certain guys that get the call up and stuff. And we really haven't, I don't think I've ever even asked that. Was it everything that you thought it would be?
I think it's better. Like, I think that's like, because one of my teammates, we were sitting on the plane flying over here. He's like, so how's it been? I was like, honestly, it's better. Like you know what to expect from some aspects. Um, from like, obviously you're flying charter, you're staying in nicer hotels, you're obviously staying, playing in front of bigger crowds and bigger stadiums. But just the whole thing is just amazing. It's like, it's such a lucky opportunity to be able to play at this level and to get to enjoy it. And I think it's exceeded my expectations.
So one of my favorite things when we have guys that have been big leaguers or now are, or just get the call up, like that's my favorite story. Like, where were you when you got the phone call? You don't have to get details of, because you see some cool videos of guys that are getting the call up and they hide the cameras and, so what was the call up like for you? And then just like the reaction and who you called and just like the next 24 hours, what was that madness like?
Yeah, it was crazy because we flew to Round Rock on Monday, so Austin. Uh, and there was some stuff going on. So like kind of thinking things could happen like Sunday ended up not happening. So it's like, okay, like, just back to work. We fly to Texas on Monday. We get there at, 7 o'clock or so, have dinner, just relax in the hotel. Probably should have went to bed because we had a noon game the next day, Tuesday, little kids day game. So, but about 11:40, our manager calls Fran and just says, congratulations, like you finally get an opportunity to go to the big leagues. So it's just like a holy shit moment, right? You're like, okay, now it's real. Like you've been waiting for this call, been thrown well enough, but the bullpen was doing so well. So it's like, you never know. So then I tried to call my wife right away. She was brushing her teeth, getting ready for bed. Called my dad. He's already asleep. So left him a voicemail. Luckily, he doesn't work on Tuesdays and Wednesdays. That's his weekend. So by the time I got a hold of him, I was already flown back to Vegas and he was already driving up. Sister was asleep. So left her a voicemail, woke up my mom, and told her, talked to my stepbrother. So was able to make some phone calls. Luckily, some people were asleep and I was trying to like get the message across, but also like, hey, I got to take care of a bunch of other shit, like pack my bags, repack my bag, get my bag from the field, try to get a couple hours of sleep. So I think it was like about 2 a.m. I fell asleep and my alarm went off at 5 to catch a flight. So it wasn't much sleep. Got back on the flight. I had to, go back to the airport, fly to Vegas to catch a flight to Oakland. I got to the field at 11:15 for a 12:30 start.
I was gonna say it was a day game, yeah.
Yeah, so and there's no direct flights from Austin to Oakland or San Francisco. So was on 3 hours of sleep, got there a little before an hour. So went over and, said hi to Cots and Emo and the coaching staff, and then grabbed the bullpen catcher, went outside, played catch, threw on the uniform, and went out for the game. So it all happened really fast, which I'm thankful it happened that way. You don't have any time to worry about anything. Then the anticipation, I mean, you're just trying to like figure everything out, kind of get your body ready, and it just kind of happens so fast that it just you're there and it's a reality, but you don't have to worry about how is it going to feel or all that. You don't have time for it. You're
Yeah, I mean,
tired, you're just going. And
it's
so
funny
it was
because
kind of the way I would want it to unfold.
you'd think like, I know it's a late night, but you think you would like, I wouldn't be able to control. I'd have to talk to everybody. Like I would not like you're asleep. Like I'd keep calling people until somebody answered and, woke up and answered. Like I don't know how you did that. Like that's such an exciting moment. It's like, oh, mom's asleep, dad's asleep, sister's waking up. Like, I don't know. I would have just kept calling people until somebody answered just to get the excitement out of my body.
Yeah, I was kind of like you can only spread the news so much because you're not like allowed to. It's not official yet. It's not
Right.
public, so you can't really share too much information. But yeah, I kind of spread it a little bit, but there was so much like to do, and it was already so late, and I was like, I have 5 hours till I have to be
It's
on a
going to
flight.
be a
Like,
long
yeah,
night. Hey, yeah.
it's going to be long, so it was kind of just like get the information out a little bit, let them spread it a little bit, and then just trying to like wrap my head around it and trying to be like, okay, I kind of need to sleep. I know I'm not going to be able to sleep, but so I took a quick nap and alarm went off before I knew it.
Were you able to talk to Coach Hannah?
I talked to him a little bit.
Yeah, that's great. I'm sure he was super
Yeah.
pumped for you, man.
Yeah,
We
he
were
was
all
pumped.
excited, dude. We were all excited. The plan is you continuing to pitch how you're pitching and forcing them to keep you so we can come up and see you when you guys get back to
Yeah.
Oakland. And you're talking about, just your performance, like just so people know, while you were in AAA, it was a 2.40 ERA, 127 whip. Your K to walk was stupid. 24,
Yeah.
5, and 15 innings. Like, yeah, it's hard to
Yeah, it
keep
was
down there, dude. And then you're
yeah.
hitting 90, you're sitting 96, 97. Like there's only so many days you can keep that down. And was there talk in spring training?
Yeah, I was one of the last guys that was kept off the roster. We dealt with some injuries uh in spring training, Scott Alexander and Sean Newcomb, and a few other guys that kind of got banged up. So there was actually only 13 guy reliever or 13 pitchers healthy at the end of camp. And then they traded and got Austin Adams and TJ McFarland the last couple of days, which were, I mean, they have the most service time in the bullpen. TJ's closing in on 9 years and Adams has 3.5 years, and they're both great additions. So I knew when those kind of happened that I would be pushed out of that opportunity, even though I had a good spring. Um, I mean, Kotze and Emerson sat me down after the game in San Francisco and were like, hey, you've done everything you could do to try to make this team, but the way, with roster and all that. And I knew um, that it was going to be hard, but I did everything I could to, put myself in that position, which I was, happy about.
When you kept your head down and
And then
kept
the bullpen, and
right.
then the bullpen went on a 30 inning scoreless streak in the end of April, beginning of May. So it was like, well, baseball's all about timing and opportunity. It's like, I can pitch as well as I want, but if everyone's putting up zeros, they're not gonna make a move. So, once things kind of unfolded and we had, got a little banged up and I finally got the opportunity.
You talk about timing and opportunity. Like, and you don't dwell on the past, but like knowing what you've been through and what you've gone through, like, is that even, I mean, how does that even enhance, just where you're at? Like gratifying anyways.
Yeah, I mean, it's one of those things like you want to be a big league, you think you can, like, but there's also a lot of doubt. Like, there's a lot of times where it's like, I don't know if I should still play. Should I go get a real job? Like,
Well, how close were you? Like, how close were you? Like, it was,
I mean, pretty close. Because I got released from the Rangers in 19. I wasn't very good, flat out. Went and played independent ball that whole year and actually I enjoyed it and had fun and stayed healthy. And then went to spring with the Dodgers in 2020 and threw well again. So it was like, okay, I'm starting to feel like I'm getting better and good enough to keep getting outs. That's kind of what I told my wife was like, I went to play independent ball in 2021. I was like, I feel like I'm getting better and pretty good. So I got to figure out if I can go get outs. And like, if I can't, then we'll move on. So went and played in 21. I mean, I was 27 years old playing in high A for most of that year, with, 19 to 23-year olds for the most part, 24-year-olds. Finally finished up in double A that year and had a good year. So I was like, okay, but then I got my real estate license that offseason because I was like, I need a backup plan. Like this game's tough, especially once you get, to a higher level. So got that offseason, and then 22 rolls around and I have a great, first half in double A, go to triple A and have some good moments and some bad moments. So, and then luckily got a call from the D-backs. It was like, okay, we're like, we got to be on the West Coast, got to be closer to home if I can, since I've been on the East Coast playing baseball every year. Uh, Luckily, the D-backs called and was able to play with them in AAA all last year. And so it was always on the table, but luckily I performed, put some pressure on myself to be like, all right, if I don't perform, I got to find another job. But I've kept performing and kept moving up. So
Where was
it
that?
didn't get too serious,
No,
luckily.
yeah, but where was that? Like, where'd that? I don't even know what to call it. Like, where did the switch? Like, was it? Because you went up to Sacramento for a minute, and like, I know you
Yeah,
were
we've been living in Sacramento for 5 years.
right, and you were kind of like, last time we talked, it was, it was kind of rough, like mentally, and just kind of how the things were going. Like, you weren't happy with the way you were playing and pitching, and I was like, man, I hope he doesn't stop, and you didn't, and you head to Sacramento. Was like that kind of where the click or things felt like, okay, no, I can do this. I can keep doing this.
Yeah, I mean, I think like I'm 30 now, so it's like the longer you get to play this game, the more you can figure out. The more you like the best guys in baseball. Like obviously, you have some young studs, but guys, find their peak between 28 and 32, 33. Their body can hold up, and I think just like the longer you do anything, the more chances you have to get better at it. And that's kind of the way I see it. Is like I've been lucky enough to stay healthy and my body feel good, and um, more and more times out there. Um, that's kind of helped. I work out at Optimum Athletes up there in Sacramento, which has been huge and helpful, and have a good PT and massage therapist. And then, been with organizations that have taught me a lot or helped me, give me information to help me learn like what pitches to throw, when to throw certain pitches to certain guys and all this information, and, to put all that together, and then the results have, gotten better on the field. So it's a accumulation of a lot of things.
Yeah, I think that's actually really good for young kids to hear because, like, you've been kind of through it. You've been in some multiple places. Had you not had those opportunities or those experiences and times with other coaches seeing different things, there's no telling if you're sitting right here,
Yeah.
starting a big league, hopefully career. It takes some
Yeah.
of that to get here.
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of guys, especially the game now. When I was drafted, it was like year by year you would move up, but now the game's changed. It's younger, there's less levels, and if you're good, they just push you because they know if we can get you to the big leagues and have you be a really good big leaguer in your 20s, like that's more valuable than you being slow, like slowly, and then maybe you get there at 26, and then maybe you've already passed some of your best years. That's the way they think, the front office is at least. I think there's plenty of guys that are in their 30s that are really good, but teams are way more willing nowadays to push that 22-year-old, 23-year-old through the system. Like you see it, the Orioles, they're all like young to
Yeah.
mid 20s and they're unbelievable, you know. Mike Harris with the Braves was a guy I played with who made it up at 2021 straight from double A. And he's never gone down. He probably never will. Like he's never going to go anywhere. He signed an $80 million contract. So the game's just changed. It always is evolving, and I think that's the beautiful thing about it.
Do you like so pitch clock stuff was easy for you to jap to? And I think in AAA, I know I saw it last year with the challenging a ball and strike throughout the game a couple times. Like, is any of this stuff like wacky for you, or are you good? You like it does it is what it is. Like you can't control
The
it. So
pitch clock, you can't control it. So like we were talking about it yesterday, it's like every time they change the rules, teams and people are going to figure out ways to help them in their favor, essentially, right? The pitch clock is fine because we have the pitch calm. So like the piece in our ear, it makes it so much easier and so much faster. if we had to do signs between the legs, that's what it was more of an issue, like in double A, because you shake and you have to. It's easier to get picked and all this other stuff. So pitch clock's been fine as long as I have the pitch com. When the pitch com goes out, I'm not happy.
Yeah.
But the strike zone was a big adjustment in Triple A last year. It was tiny. It like the top of the zone was completely gone. The bottom was a touch lower, but it's essentially the width of the plate where the plate cuts back. So 8.5 inches on or 8 inches on. So you're looking at for a I think it's 6'2" guy, the strike zone 17 by 17, basically. So it is a tiny little square. So you saw across AAA as a whole, you can look at the numbers. There was only like maybe 2 teams in AAA that walked under 4 hitters per batter lap, 4 hitters per 9 last year. And those like, the step below the big leagues where you shouldn't be walking guys. So it was a big adjustment, and you saw it earlier in the year. I mean, my May and June last year in AAA, I mean, PCL is tough, so that's part of it. But I had a 12 ERA over those 2 months, and then like it was bad. Like I was giving up hits, I was walking guys. I wasn't getting it. It was not easy to get out. So I think I gave up 11 runs and like 2 1/3 in El Paso in a week. Just like everything's falling. You walk a guy, next guy hits the ball out of the yard. It's just a grind. But what that did was it gave me confidence. The second half of the year, I had like a 2.5, 3 ERA because I was able to get in the zone earlier in counts, be more aggressive, trust my stuff in the zone a lot more. So it helped me in the long run. And then this year, they made the zone better in AAA. It's the same, like kind of, it's maybe a little bit bigger, but it's also hot. They raised it up a little bit, which now with the fastball up, the guys have to swing and honor it a little bit more. So they're getting closer with that. Who knows what they're actually going to do with it? Because the big league umpire union is so strong, so who knows what they can and cannot pass.
Right, man. I've heard people talk about potential with the robo ump stuff like that. I mean, I don't want to see that. I don't want to see too much of the traditional game leave because that's what I grew up with. I get becoming more efficient, and at that level, it's a business, right? You've got TV and rights and sponsors and blah 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 blah. But one thing I did want to bring up, and I saw this last night. Do you know how many Vanderbilt Commodores are on big league rosters this year? On active
there's 30 teams. There's 30 teams.
And you're on the list, so this was updated recently.
Okay. I wonder if Leiter's on. Leiter has made a couple starts. I mean, it's got to be close to 25, 20.
I think I saw it was 11. But
that's lower than I thought. But
I mean, so here was the stupid stat: is 8 of you guys were teammates.
Yeah,
like that's crazy how good your guys' run was.
Because Fulmer's on there, right? Fulmer's up right now. Wheeler's up there. Dansby.
But did you play with Blade? Or was he?
I did not. He
was after.
He was. He was after. I missed him by I think just 1 year.
Okay.
I think he was an 18 draft, so he would have been there 16, 17, 18.
For Dansby was one.
Yeah, and then you have Brian Reynolds.
Yep.
Kyle Wright's injured, but he was he was with us.
I have the list here.
Colin Snyder he's in AAA right now, but he was up with the Mariners before he got injured.
Yes.
Yeah. I mean, the list keeps going on.
That's pretty impressive, man. Like
it's crazy. Yeah, I mean, Sonny Gray. I didn't play with Sonny, but Casale might be up somewhere. Yeah, I mean, the list just keeps going on and on.
Tyler Beatty got up there for a minute too. Like
Tyler Beatty broke with the Guardians. Yeah, he had a really good spring, and hopefully he'll bounce right back and find another opportunity.
So back to your call up, you get to Oakland. It was obviously a day game, so you kind of had a mad dash to the ballpark. Like, was there anybody in there to greet you when you got there? Was everybody out getting their work in, or what was that like?
They already were back in from getting their work in. It was
no kidding. It was game time, basically.
Yeah, they already played catch. We were coming back inside, like relaxing, grabbing food, getting ready for that game. And I was running around the clubhouse, like trying to say hi, introduce myself to TJ and Tyler and Evan and some of the guys that weren't in spring with us. Luckily, I knew most of the guys because I was, in spring training the whole time with them. but yeah, I mean, it's just chaos. It's just like trying to like, sign some papers so that I can go play and make sure I have food so I'm not starving sitting in the bullpen, figuring out where I'm gonna sit in the bullpen because everyone's got their seat.
Spots.
You're just trying to like, yeah, there's a lot going on. You're trying to like stay out of certain people's way because you're like, you're the lowest on the totem pole. I may be 30, but I am the lowest on the totem pole. So, trying to respect everybody and trying to like figure everything out. Yeah, it's crazy.
And that was your debut as well, right? Like you
Yeah.
pitched. That was the day you went two innings, I think.
Yeah,
Uh,
2 innings. The way the game unfolded, Strip got squeezed a little bit, and some balls fell, and you know, the as soon as they put 10, I think, up in the second, it was like, okay, I'm in this one. I know my role when you get called up in the bullpen. It's go eat some innings, and this is the kind of game that I'll be in. So I knew early that I was going to be in it. So it was just
so when
waiting
you
for the
get up to
call.
go get loose, like what's going on? Are you pumping? Are you focused? Are you looking around? Like what is you're getting loose in the pen? And I saw somebody had a video of you actually taking the walk from the bullpen to the mound, which was pretty cool. Like,
Yeah.
you look like you'd done it
Yeah.
100 times.
Thank you. Thank you. Yeah. I I mean, luckily it was everything was smooth. I felt comfortable. Uh, the first throw's the most nerve-wracking throw. You're on the field anyways, so like you're like, all right, just don't throw this into left field.
Yeah.
But you get that going and everything gets rolling, and it wasn't too quick in an inning. It wasn't too long of an inning, so it's the right amount of just throw your pitches. Your body, you have so much adrenaline that it didn't take me long to get loose. It was like I got quicker than got ready quicker than I normally do. So then it was just kind of um, stay loose and just be ready to go.
And I thought it was
So
cool, whatever. The full circle kind of deal was that your debut was against the team that drafted you.
yeah,
Like,
yeah. So I knew some people over there.
okay, okay.
Played with some of those guys. They have three guys in the bullpen that I knew. They're all younger, but I because I was injured and at the complex and whatnot, I've met a lot of those guys and uh, training staff, strength coach. I knew a good bit of people over there, so that was cool for them to be able to see that. And some of the people over there um, from that organization texting me and congratulating me.
I mean, I love it, dude. You've been what, five? Is it 5 innings now? 6 innings,
4 innings.
4 innings. Okay, I was making it sound a little bit, but
I've only been up here for a
that's all right.
week
I
or
mean, you
five
pitched
days.
every
So
other day consistently. I was watching last night,
yeah.
and that got away late in the game in the ninth there or in the eighth. But I was like, oh, maybe Fergie. My kids, we were all watching, and then we'll be watching tonight
Yeah.
again. And yeah, man, it's just awesome. Like, I mean, I love the story. And maybe I'm biased, obviously, because we got to spend a year at C-Dub, and
Mhm.
watching you through your college career, and just we don't talk constantly, but I think we've stayed in touch since you left high school, which has been really cool. And I'm so glad, like, you deserve it, man. I brag about it all the time. I'm not even, we're not family or nothing, but really, like, the tone that you set back in high school, like, I always knew this kid's going to be whatever it was, you're going to be good at it. You were going to figure it out. I was very few kids on that team. I think as coaches, we were worried about going on in life to do good things. And I'm just super pumped, man. I've been watching every day, hoping to see you get in there. And I know all the coaches, KP was super. He's the one that called me and texted me, let me know. And just freaking awesome, man. Like, I'm just super proud. And everybody here is excited for you. Like, it's pretty fun, man. What was mom and dad like? They made it up there, right, that day?
Yeah. Luckily, we played in California because everyone was able to make it. So
It was meant to be.
my mom and sister flew up from Southern California. My dad was able to drive up. My wife drove over from Sacramento. So everyone was there. It was perfect. Yeah, I was. Yeah, it was like the whole time I was like trying not to cry because I was like, calling my
Yeah,
wife that
of
night,
course.
and then it was like after I pitched, saw him all in like I saw my dad. I played catch, and the gates were open, so I was like walking in, and I saw my dad walk in, so he came down, and I gave him a hug, and I was like, we couldn't even exchange words because I was like, I'm gonna start crying, so I was just like, gave him a hug. I was like, I'll see you after the game
Yeah, that's
because I
awesome.
knew like, and then finally after the game, I was like, all right, now I can let all these emotions out.
I
So
mean,
that was good.
You'll be a bit forever, dude. Forever. You're in a small fraternity, man. Whether it's a cup of coffee or not, that's for. I mean, big league Ks. Like, you know what else it looked like in that video when they threw your first K in the dugout, and you're asking for another ball. It was like, and I don't have time. I'm in it. Like, I need to maintain the rhythm. Like, get me the ball so I can get
Yeah.
back and do it again.
Yeah. You don't have time to mess around. Sometimes that clock gets moving fast on us.
Well, and you don't want to sit there and think about it because then it's like, oh, great. Now the next pitch is at the backstop.
Yeah. Yeah. You're just like, let's just keep it rolling.
Yeah.
So,
Before I let you go, what's it like when you see Mason Miller in the bullpen? What does that glove sound like when 103 is getting popped?
well, it'll be fun.
Like it's playing catch.
It'll be, well, he only threw in that doubleheader against the Rangers since there was no kind of save or close game for him in Seattle. So he's going to throw tonight, I think, since he's had about 4 or 5 days off. But tonight's going to be fun because in Houston, we're in that like cage back there and it's all concrete. It's going to sound like a million miles an hour and we sit right where the catcher is. So it's going to be like gunshots going off in there. I mean, it's electric. It looks so easy and his arm just moves so fast. And all of a sudden you know, BB comes out of there. It's impressive. I mean, he's striking out over 50% of the hitters he's faced this year.
Yeah, his
And
numbers are nuts.
I'll tell you by my little experience, it's way harder to get a swing and miss at this level than it is in AAA. Like I've run into a lot of deep counts because, maybe I'm not executing the fastball all the way at the top rail, but the ball that, maybe gets a swing and miss sometimes for me is now fouled off. These guys are just better. So the fact that he's doing what he's doing is incredible. So it's gonna be fun to keep watching him.
You throw a tight zone in there, it's even harder.
Yeah, I mean these guys are so good. I mean, even I had a Julio 0-2 the other day, and you're like, okay, well, don't make a mistake with this 0-2 slider. So I yank it off, and then he fouls off a four seam, and then I miss a couple two seams that are decent pitches, but they don't start over the middle quite enough. They start on the inside half, and he spits on them. And I mean, then I throw another four seam in there, and he fouls it off again. And you're just like, come on, like at least pop it up and play. Don't foul it off. So yeah, these guys are good, really good. There's a reason they're here. So it's a good challenge every day.
Nah, man, that's awesome. Like I said, everybody here is pumped for you, dude. And hopefully we can get up there in the next couple of weeks and you keep pitching like you are, man. It's gonna be hard for them to send you back down. Hopefully it's not just while some guys are hurt, you've earned your stay and just keep doing your thing, man. We're all pumped. It's no joke here, man. We love it.
I appreciate it. Yeah, it's been fun. Just gonna keep go out there, enjoy it, have some fun, and see what happens.
High school playoffs start today. I'm not gonna jinx it, but the Golden Eagles are the number 1 seed. We don't do big predictions. We've been there before, my friend. We've been there before, so we won't. Yeah, we don't want to jinx it, but I know you're following the Eagles. I'm sure they're pumped to know you're watching.
Yeah, I follow them on Instagram and keeping up, and it looks like they're playing some really good baseball.
Oh, yeah. No, they're playing.
Just keep it rolling.
Yep. It's pretty crazy to see Tyler Patrick grown up. You know what I mean? You see him.
Yeah. He caught me, not this offseason, but the offseason before I was in Fresno and he caught a bullpen for me. So
that's great. Good for that's awesome. Yeah. Nah, pretty cool.
Yeah.
But no, like I said, man, good luck. Keep doing what you're doing. And hopefully we can get up there and see you here real soon.
Sounds good. Let me know.